Hello, I'm Gerbrand Meijer, technical coordinator for VPRO. VPRO is a Dutch broadcaster, and I want to show you what we did with Magnolia last year. About a year ago, we started looking for a new CMS system. Currently, we're in the process of migrating our over more than 100 sites to Magnolia. And we did a couple of interesting things, so I would like to show you. I will start with a quick show reel to show you a little bit more about the company and what we do. Well, I leave it there. It's a lot of things we do. We do internet, we do television, we do radio, we have a magazine. And internet is treated as one of the main outlets for VPRO. So we can discuss about television programs, about radio programs. It's quite equal altogether. Internet is an important part for VPRO. It's started a long time ago doing internet. I'll talk a bit about that later. I want to tell you something about how we came to the decision to use Magnolia, and then show you some sites we did with Magnolia. But a little more about the department we're working for. It's VPRO Digital. We do a lot ourselves, mainly everything for the internet. We're concepting, we have our own project managers. Development is done in-house. We have 3 of our developers here with us. Started doing iPhone and iPad development. Maybe show you something later if I have time. But most of all, we're like 20 people, internet-addicted people, so bad that when we go on a company trip, they put us on a mine for 50 meters down the ground. So we have no connectivity at all. So that's us. A little bit about our history. We're this VPRO Digital. We're active in the internet since 1994. I think one of the first things, Enrico's one of the guys who was there from the beginning, I was not, is to distribute the internet on a CD. Back when CDs, CD-ROMs were cool and internet was not available everywhere. So we allowed our viewers to see the internet already when it's not in their neighborhood or not available for them. Recently we found a lot of old pictures, and this is one of the first CMS interfaces we had. We created our own CMS system. One of the earlier presentations also mentioned that it was the only way back then. It's in 1996, I think, MMBase was created. It was also open sourced a couple of years later. Still using it for a lot of sites, but migrating to Magnolia. But it's still used widely in the Netherlands, I think mainly in the Netherlands. We open sourced Magnolia after not all too long, and still having there's still a community going on around it. There are a couple of platforms we're building for mainly. We have the music platforms, 3 for 12, 3 minutes before 12. We're doing a lot of website. The website for it is one of the biggest websites we have. We're doing a lot of movie. It's cinema.nl. It's a movie-based website. It's a huge library of movie metadata. Movie enthusiasts from the Netherlands can find their way around there. We have a lot of history-based sites. So that's the one we're currently converting. And we're doing a lot of documentaries. VPRO is known for its documentaries, and we create sites around them where people can find more information about the documentaries and view them. Couple of recent projects we did. This is an iPad application for a music platform. So we try to bring back the cover art because it's got lost a little bit in the digital music. iPad is very good to view the cover art again. Well, lots of different kinds of projects. This is totally different. I think this is the biggest project company as the VPRO can do. We took a clipper, a ship, and we recreated the Darwin's journey around the world. Made a weekly television show of it, made the internet side of it, radio, everything was there. A huge site, a lot of content there. And it was fun for us as the digital department. We even created a night television show about it. It was like 4 o'clock in the morning. We took the content from the site, put it on television, and it ran for like 3 or 4 months. Every night we had a television show. I think we were the biggest program at that time for the VPRO. And because we have to share in the Netherlands, we don't have our own channel. We share our channel with all the different broadcasters. Other projects we're proud of is City 1 Minute. It's a concept. A lot of cities around the world. There are every time of the day, every hour, 1 minute videos showing you an impression of each city, so you can travel around the world. It's more a creative concept. So we're doing all different kind of projects. We're documentary sites which give you information about the documentary, but also more cool things, innovative things like this. So it's a nice site to go to and to just look around what's to be done around the world. This is Switzerland, by the way. Yeah, a little bit of bragging. We got some awards for this site in Europe. It's a big, huge history site where the history is made in context, where it happened, when it happened, put it on a map. This is a huge project. Got an award for it, and also the City 1 Minute you saw earlier. Yeah, about a year ago, a little bit more, we realized something had to be changed. We had MMBase. It served us a long time. It served us very well, but in time it was gotten so huge. We couldn't do any quick sites in it. All data structures were in there. There are loads of different tables in the database for it. We couldn't ask when people asked us, "Can you create a short, quick site for this program?" We had to say, "No, that's not possible," or it would be a very standard thing where nothing could be done. So this is what MMBase looked like for us. It's not coincidentally a Swiss knife, but everything was in MMBase, but we couldn't build a quick site. So what happened? There are other little CMS systems like WordPress, all other things around it, and even worse, all these WordPresses had different versions of modules, and so there was a really complicated landscape of technique and content, because content was also scattered around in different places. We couldn't merge the content together. So we sat together and thought, what's next? What should we do? How can we go on? Should we try to fix MMBase or start over with it? So we thought, let's get back and look at a little bit of the architecture. So this is how we then saw those things. No longer try to put everything in one big container, but slice it up in domain-driven containers. We call it silos. And then put a presentation layer on it, build an API on some of the silos where it's appropriate, and serve that to the client. Well, then we try to get from what kinds of content do we have. This is what we drew then. We have editorial content, we have images. They fit in the presentation layer. They can be shown by the presentation layer. It's also possible to add silos later on because, well, things emerge. So maybe in a couple of years we have more silos. And then we, through an API, we offered the media, the video and audio, the EPG, the television timing, and the social media. That was our plan at that moment. EPG was already started because we had the need to show EPG data on our sites. So we took CouchDB as a product to show the EPG. That became our API later on, but that gave us a little bit of experience up front. The presentation layer and the editorial content layer of silo, when we combine it, well, it looks like a CMS, and there's a lot of CMS on the market, so why not look for a CMS and see if something fits us? So we can save a lot of work, because initially the thought was, let's do everything ourselves and put building blocks together. Well, this turned out to be a huge building block, which helped us a lot. So we got a CMS selection. We had little experience doing this, because you don't do this every year, at least that's what we hope. So we sat back, and we are a Java development club. So is it necessary to look at other platforms, other languages? A couple of them here. We looked at a lot of things, mainly to prevent the fact when you're working so long in a certain environment, maybe you don't know exactly what's happening on the other side of the Java wall. So we looked at a lot of systems. We didn't rule out anything up front. We even tried to PHP projects. We did. Next phase was a proof of concept phase. We selected 4 systems or 4 solutions and built this ugly site, which was has limited functionality, but there are some things in it. It's got rating, it's got sorting, it's got paging, it's got multi-site. And we took a month development time for 4 developers, and we said, well, just build in 4 different solutions, just build this, and afterwards we'll see what happened. And that turned out to be a very useful exercise, because some products we couldn't even build this proof of concept. It looks quite simple, but it was impossible in some products, or not easy enough. And then after a lot of debate and structuring our different selection criteria, we had a unanimous decision that Magnolia would service for this part of our architecture. So that was back in, I guess, a year ago, September last year. We decided, well, a little bit later, in November, we had a decision to go with Magnolia. And then we realized, yeah, it's nice to know what we're going to do. We have done a proof of concept. But that was not, we learned a lot in the proof of concept phase, but it was not like running away with Magnolia. So we got training, we got a lot of sessions about how we're going to do this. Are we going to transition our content in one batch, or do this in different ways? Point is, we have a lot of content. We like I said, we started in 1994 creating content, and there's a lot of debate whether what portion of the content is still valuable, but the consensus is most of the time don't throw away too much content. So we have to migrate a lot of content. We have to look at the content carefully, because content is not very uniform. As I said, there are different CMSs, but even in MM-based, there are a lot of different definitions for like an article. And there are sites which in 2002 decided to, when I remove this picture, this article should go offline and may never come online again. All this kind of implicit rules you had to follow. So it was impossible for us to do a big bang transition. So we started with a per site approach, as we called it. We defined a roadmap of sites which we wanted to migrate to Magnolia. Started with a very simple site, at least the site itself is quite simple, but when you do it the first time in a new CMS, it's a huge project. We had to develop functionality which we still use now. But we had one like a vision. We make a roadmap, and each site we tag with some new kind of functionality. And we started with a simple site, and each site adds new functionality to the toolbox we have in Magnolia. And that's something we're still working on. It's working, but it's difficult, as we see now. I will come back to that later. But we think it's the only way to make new functionality in our situation, because there's always new programs which need to go online. A lot of pressure on deadlines. If we try to develop new functionality out of the blue, it won't happen. There's always something with a higher priority. And we decided to, also on the content part, to look very closely on the structure of each site, because it's a site that's maybe created 10 years ago or something, or 5 years ago. Let's look very, very good. Is it still necessary to have this functionality? Is this section still? This is like an opportunity to look very good at a site. It's too easy to just recreate an existing site, rebuild it in Magnolia, and go on. Now you have time and resources to do something new. So that's what we try to do in our roadmap. This is what this is a roadmap. It's quite we stayed really close to the roadmap. Sometimes by losing features, we are not exactly working like agile, but we implement parts of it. Well, the consequence is sometimes you lose functionality because you have to get a deadline. It's been accepted, but there's now later on we get a discussion: should we go back and to do something extra? Well, that's okay. That's always possible, but you have to change the planning. Backlight, tegenlicht. It's a documentary series, and it's a small site. We treat it as a huge project, and this is how it looks like now. It's a program site. It means it's based around episodes of a show. The editors have a lot of control, and they can put pages together, and that's what they do. We have to learn this interaction also, because sometimes we look at the site now and we see that they did some ugly things, or they're trying things and it doesn't work. So you have to keep this dialogue, which is hard because we have a lot of editors. I think we're now around 50 editors, but it will grow around above 100 editors for all different sites. This is one of the things we did as a video player. It's quite simple. It's the first part of a media service we're building. So that was not complete in this backlight site. In the later sites, that's evolved to a better player, better experience for user. I will skip to the next one. Next in the timeline was our festival site. I will come back to that later, but that's a big thing for VPRO. We're media partners for two biggest festivals in the Netherlands for music, alternative music. We'll see that again. And then this summer we did Holland Doc. That's a complex situation because it's a site for multiple broadcasters in which we are the maintaining broadcaster. So we had to deal with a lot of parties, but we wanted to keep it in our installation. We have one installation. We plan to run everything from there. So there was a lot of discussion about functionality and who can say this. But I think we managed to build a great site. We're very proud of it. Media services is grown mature in this site. We have like playlists on sites. People can browse through playlists. It's a lot of video-centered site is this. Yeah, we're really proud of the effect. You can watch a playlist here, and then jump to videos, go to the next, and so that's that's the API coupling with I showed you earlier. This running to CouchDB, the media parts running through the CouchDB. Then we have the second part. This is actually what we're doing right now. We're right now in the process of building our history portal. It's a huge content base. History. They really don't want to throw away anything. So we're in the process of deciding how can we import this the best. There are like 40,000 video items. Or do we need to create a page for each of these? These are the discussions which are at this moment going on. Also, we're working on the program sites. You could say that this is the same as tegenlicht, backlight, but now we're trying to generalize that. So we can make it. The goal is to create a site in 2 clicks and enter some color data and headers and a site wizard. So we can prevent. We have to get a WordPress site if there's. Maybe sometimes 2 months before a show they want to put up a page and so ask for audience, ask for people who had this or that. That's usually the thing we do now in WordPress, and we hope to do that in Magnolia, and we hope to create a kind of site which evolves with the life cycle of a program, which has no design in front, just a VPRO style. And then when the program evolves, it gets its own style a little bit, depending on the size of the program. It gets episodes, it follows it, and it's get an archive when it's over. So that's what we're doing. And yeah, in early next year, we're starting on 3.4.12, the music platform. We're all enjoying, looking forward to it, but it will be a very big. It's maybe the biggest job we have to do the coming year. Looking back, what did we learn from where we are now? At first we thought we have to know everything exactly how we're going to do it. We want to do it good at once, and we realized it's not possible because there's so many factors we don't know. We don't know enough about Magnolia. We have to see this as a learning experience. So we think good, but not too good, and accept we make some mistakes, and we have to fix them later on. That's the hard part, I must say. That's where we're at the point we're at now. We have to make sure we're fixing some of those mistakes. So we're making lists. What should we have done better, and seeing if we find the time to do these things. Also, very important, I think, is to make hard decisions. Sometimes when you're migrating sites or creating a new site, there's so many people who want to make the biggest site with all the nice features and things, but it's really important to cut back features, to get back to the core, and to make the most simple sites which is acceptable, and then build on later, because when you keep adding features it never gets done, and that's one of the problems we had before. And also tie new functionality to a site. You have you can tie a deadline on it, and then we see we can build things which we otherwise could not do. That's about the migration part. I want to take out the case of the festival sites. The festival sites are built mainly for 3.4.12. But not only, we have also like cinema festivals where we could use it. This is really something we see as a part of the toolbox. What we added in the festival site is like a social harvester. We're harvesting social media, Twitter, YouTube movies, at least the metadata of it, put it in our API and serve it through Magnolia. And that way we can, because the different for us, the festival sites are high traffic sites, and the other sites we have it's much more stable. So that's for us is a difficult situation. You have to serve the traffic for the festival sites, but most of the time you don't need it. So this API comes in very good to get the peaks of those. We have made a system so it's not always inserted in the page. You can choose to put it through the API. For social media, that's very good because it's very nice not to have 80,000 tweets in your content repository because they're not even yours. So that's very handy to put them in a separate silo, and that's useful for us. This is to give you an impression about the festivals we're talking about. Quick tour around the festival site. I'm glad I did this before because I don't know if the internet works well. The editors have really have a lot of freedom to change the page during the day, and that's very new for them because they're used to working. This is a design exactly built like the design, and you can fill in the articles. But during the day of the first festival, someone said, well, can't we change this and put something there and then change the navigation? And a quarter of an hour later, it was done. That was really amazing also for the editors to have the freedom to change the site when they're working on this festival, because it's high pressure festival. It sounds relaxing, but for editors, it's really hard work. There's not a relaxing experience, and then be able to change the site on the middle of the day. That was really nice for them. So we can really follow the life cycle of an event. That's what we saw there. Impression of the site, a lot of YouTube. I don't know, maybe something was wrong and it only shows YouTube. But this is the, we call it the social media harvester, and it comes back in this paragraph type. Different types for social media, and you can just list all the things you can filter. You can say show only the tweets, show only YouTube, show only this. And that kind of functionality we bring back to the other sites we have. So we can add a Twitter box on any site soon, and that's how we also keep our editors for all the different sites. We hope to keep them happy by adding these little features sequentially. It also links back to our 3 for 12 television channel. Well, it's not really a television channel, but there's a lot of video in it. Because we are a media partner of those festivals, we have access to high quality video, high quality audio. So there's a good outlet, is also the festival site. And the fun thing is the editors of the festival site, only the one who maintains the main page is already working in Magnolia. All the others are working on their old systems because they're not migrated yet. Which has is a great advantage because a festival is not the moment to train people. It's very high pressure, so you can't let people work in a new CMS. So they work in their old CMS. We import all the data into the APIs and then serve it through Magnolia. And only the one who maintains the front page does it in Magnolia at the moment. Next year, I think everyone will be working in Magnolia. So the goals for this site, the editorial goals, as we call them, is people, and the fun thing is one of the earlier screenshots from the history, it was the same, it was also a festival site, and it says you should be able to relive the festival when you're back at home, or you should be able to feel like you're being there when you're at home during the festival. And that's the two goals of this site, and that we can manage that very good now by the same system. Earlier on we had to change the whole page or change the site even. Now it's just removing a couple of paragraphs, changing the names in the navigation from live to archive, and then it's working. And of course the combination of editorial and social media content, and that we can really mix it up in here. Functional, yeah, it should be flexible. Interface should be familiar, as I said, and it should be a high-performance site. Well, this is a picture of the mashup engine. Guys over there can tell you a lot more about it. I think maybe it could be interesting for tomorrow, even as a topic. But we created a mashup engine, as we call it, harvester. We harvest all this social media, RSS feeds, also our own RSS feeds. We route it to Camel and ActiveMQ, and then put it in a CouchDB database, which is a NoSQL database. I don't know if you heard of it. And it serves as an API already, so you can predefine the queries you're going to need for the website. Program them in CouchDB, and it's really quick, can give you back the results you want. And the front-end developers love it because they get JSON data back, so they can start programming directly. So it's really working well for us. And I think the combination with Magnolia is very strong. So we did some integration things on it, and well, maybe interesting to have a look more. Let's see. I'm going quickly, I think. Yeah, so this was the festival site. I have another project I like to show it to you. It's a cool thing we did also on the festival. It's called Film It Yourself. The concept about it is when you're a visitor of a festival, you sometimes make a movie and put it on YouTube. What if we combine this, and VPRO has good quality audio of the concerts. Let's combine those YouTube movies and the good quality audio, and put it in like an API or something, but that's later on. But let's create movies so people can relive the concert. It's also one of the goals of the festival site. People can they know they were there, they were at that angle, and they see their own movie combined with other movies. And we tried it last year on Lowlands, the festival. It was received very well, and it was a nice effect. You could see all the cameras moving, and but it was very much work because we did it with the flip cams, and we have to import it and get all the data from everyone and make sure no one loses it, and then synchronize it by hand on looking at the audio lines, and then render it in Final Cut. So it's a lot of work. So we thought, well, the concept is working, we have to automate this. And just before the summer, we had like a technical breakthrough on that part. And we are able to synchronize through an iPhone application. This is like a Hello World movie from it. You see the project leader. This is filmed with three iPhones, and no editing was done on the synchronization. So when we had this, we thought, well, we can go on. We made an iPhone app, we put it in the store, and we went to Lowlands with it. This is how it looks like. People can, it synchronizes the time very, very good. People can create their movies, upload them. The uploading proved to be difficult on a festival. And then you get movies like this, and this is like in an hour after the concert, it could be online. People like this, especially when you have been to the festival, but in the future we want to take this further. We want to make an API, we want to make an open API so people can create their own applications with it. Because we have unique data. We have, for Lowlands alone, we have 1,200 movies with the location and the direction and the exact time people took this movie. So when you put that in an API and you let people create their own players. So that's what we hope to do. We created a little bit of proof of concept for how you could do this in HTML5. You could get people to direct their own version of the concert, and we put the music on top of it. That kind of things we're hoping people are going to generate for us, and we can enjoy it. And we also created a map, like a heat map from where were things happening. This is the Lowlands terrain. You see there was a concert going on which was filmed. This is Magnolia site, by the way. So that's, yeah, I think the time's, okay. Yeah, this was the highlights of Lowlands. So we had 88 people participating, 34 concerts, and it's very quickly online. Well, by the last year it was a lot of more work. So we're going along with this concept. That was my last slide. Anyone having questions?
How many people are involved with the front-end and back-end programming by VPRO?
We have 4 back-end developers, 3 front-end developers. And we sometimes get external people to help us. So,
you might guess where I'm going with this, but is there any chance that we're going to see, say, the CouchDB integration or other social media mashup things that you've seen, that you've done? Is there any chance we're going to see that, outside VPRO? Is there any chance you're going to?
Yeah, of course. We're very much happy to share. How it depends on how general things are. If you can publish them, it should be very general, I think. But anyone who's interested in this kind of things, please ask us, and we're sharing everything. So that's not the problem.
In the context of Magnolia and outside the context of Magnolia is useful.
Yeah. Well, of course, we're willing to share everything. So that's no secrets.
This is all done in Magnolia, but can you tell us about the amount of traffic this website is taking and average amount of visitors per day, and what?
I don't have the figures in my mind, but I can show you later. It's, I think for the festival site, it was half a million visitors. I think for the
half a million and what? Sorry.
500,000
per day or per?
Yeah, in the period of this festival, it's like 3-4 days. Period. But I don't know exactly. I can look it up for you.
Did you have any issues with the caching, with this
Well,
load?
the first festival we did, we had a lot of problems, but there turned out to be some bottleneck in our API gateway, which blocked the whole way. But Magnolia kept running perfectly, and the second festival, which I must say is less traffic, it went very smoothly, even with changes in the homepage, and it was not a problem.
Sorry, for the last question. Did you have any requirement to just add a new server while this concert, the festival is there, adding new servers
No,
while the traffic is
no, we're running on 2 servers all the time, and it's going well.
So.
Yeah, we're not near the end of it, but maybe in the future.
Thank you.
Which OS you're running Magnolia on?
I hear Red Hat here.
Okay, it's hosted.
Yeah. Thank you.